goodness such a disservice when you don't show forth the goodness of God in how you live your single life. You go to your family and you so miserable, they want to hook you up with the first thing they can see because they see you as just as miserable. They don't see you. They're not envying you. Why? Because the blessing has not become irresistible. But when the blessing becomes irresistible, they like, I want what you got. That's why people be in a bad relationship, be living in hell, but a front because they think they better off than you that don't have anybody. How many people do that? They're in a compromising relationship. But that gets more play than somebody that doesn't have anybody. Why? Because the blessing has not become irresistible to that person. Happy, fortunate to be envied, spiritually prosperous. But we're going to find out it's not just spiritual prosperity. With life, joy, and satisfaction. Life, joy, and satisfaction. Does that describe the state you're in now? Full of life, full of joy, just satisfied. It is well. That's when the blessing has become irresistible. Or is there a longing and a craving and a whooshing? When the blessing arrives. Now notice this. Regardless of their outward circumstances. So that means that the blessing can be irresistible to you. I'm going to show it before we're done. The blessing can be irresistible to you. And you could be in a bad situation. Now, how do you get that way? Well, look at this. Most of us just read this. Maybe we had to memorize it in Sunday school, but it surely doesn't sound like it. Maybe you did, but it surely doesn't sound like something that you've been. I don't hear too many sermons taught about this either, that this is how you get blessed. But the Bible says you get blessed when you are the poor. Poor? No. There's nothing about poverty that is blessed. But this says you are blessed. The blessing is irresistible to you when you are the poor in spirit. Say, this is for the mature. This is going to do nothing to make your flesh feel good. But it's going to stretch you and put a demand on your growth. And when that's when the blessings say, my God, this person, leave me alone, Satan, I got that, because this person. What does it mean to be poor in spirit? When you are poor in spirit, it doesn't mean that you're broke. So those of you that are broke, don't get happy. It means you are humble. And the best way I know to describe humbleness is God dependent. You recognize that apart from the Lord, you can do nothing. And when the blessing is really ready to come on you and take over you, you've grown to the point where you don't even want to do anything apart from it. You're poor in yourself then. You're poor in self-reliance. Do you know how many single adults live self-reliant? Do you know how many single adults approach dating and they're not humble in dating? They're not God dependent in dating. It's their plan. It's what I'm going to do. It's I'm going to go to the .com. I'm going to get 10 matches. I am going to try them out. I'm going to figure out which one have the characteristics that I want. I am going to see which ones I like. I'm going to discard the ones that I don't like. I'm going to keep the ones that I do like. You are relying on yourself, thereby keeping the blessing from you. But the Bible says the blessing becomes irresistible to you when you become God dependent. When you say, God, I couldn't figure out how to pick somebody to marry if my life depended on it. I need you so bad to help me make that decision. God, I don't want to make a move without you. God, I am poor in spirit. Bless me. When somebody tries to come to you and do a hookup, guess what? If they not poor in spirit, meaning they didn't depend on God to come to the conclusion that that was a good hookup for you, be leery of it. Because the Bible says, blessed are the poor in spirit, the humble, not the self-reliant, the self-sufficient, but the God-dependent. And I especially want to apply that to issues that confront you as single adults, because sometimes we can hear that and we can go spiritual. Oh, yeah, I'm not proud. I don't have pride. But do you have pride in how you date? Do you have pride in, well, I haven't had sex in 6 years. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. I got this. I got this. I don't need to hear that mess. I got this. Anybody got to get in my business like that? You know, that is self-sufficiency. I always get nervous when I hear somebody that has walked celibate for a little while and they no longer need to hear the message. As a woman who lived celibate for 14 years, I found out quickly that I needed to hear the message on a regular basis. There was not a time in that 14-year walk where I decided I had arrived. Every day I got up and I depended upon God to keep me. And the day that you feel like you got that is the day you are ready to fall. And we have people come here, they hear it, they get it, and they say, well, I don't want to hear that anymore. I'm scared for them every time they say it. You need to hear it. Now, we got a devil that every single day, every minute of the day is throwing sexual suggestions to us. You can't watch the TV for 30 seconds without getting a sexual inference. You can't drive up and down. You drive up and down the Eisenhower, you're going to see 3 or 4 big billboards hitting you with something sexual. And you got that? The Bible says that if you want the blessing of sexual and emotional purity to overtake you, then you need to be God dependent every day of your life. Never arrive. Those of you that are walking out, don't ever get tired of hearing the message of purity. I thank God I went to a local church when I was walking these things out, and it was a regular sermon somewhere, not just every once in a while, and God knew he needed to put me there. Because, see, I didn't just need to hear it every once in a while. I needed to hear it every Sunday, and it would be 2 or 3 Sundays, and we'd have another lust altar call. If you're struggling with lust, come to the altar. I don't know if that happens anymore, but I thank God for my season that it happened. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Now, what does this poor in spirit person get? For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. What does that mean? When you are humble, when you are God dependent, the kingdom of heaven is yours.
There is